When I was 4 years old, my parents decided to become missionaries. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but before I knew it, they'd taken me away from Texas, and then we moved to a cold, cold place, Irkutsk, Siberia. When I was there, I did what normal kids would do. I went to school, I played basketball, but I got to do some things that normal kids did not get to do. I got to learn how to play hockey on outdoor ice rinks that were pretty much open all year round since it's cold and icy. I got to ride on sleds that my dog pulled named Balto. It was amazing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to stay there for very long. We lived there for 6 years, but due to the air pollution, my mom started developing lung cancer, and we had to move to a cleaner environment. It was really a blessing from God, though, that we had been to a really clean environment a few years earlier on vacation. The place we visited was called Slovenia. For context, it's in Central Eastern Europe, and the countries bordering it are Italy, Austria, Hungary, and Croatia. So when we found out that we had to move, my parents were like, "We can go there. It's perfect. It's clean." We felt led to go there when we prayed about it, and there's a real need for missionaries. So when we moved, it was real rough at first. We couldn't find a home. We searched for 6 months. We finally were in a house. But after that, it was pretty much smooth sailing. I got in school. I made friends. My sisters and I all learned the language pretty quickly, and we just fit right in. I loved it. It was one of the best experiences of my life. It's what I consider home today, and I don't know what I would be like without it. When I was around 13, though, in the school system in Slovenia, every kid has to go off to a certain other place for high school, to either go to trade school or general high school. For me, though, since I was planning on going to college in America, I needed to get an American Certified Diploma. So my parents did a little research and found a wonderful place called BFA, or Black Force Academy, which is a Christian boarding school located in southern Germany. When I was 15, I went there, spent all 4 years of high school there, and had just a blast. I met so many cool people. The teachers were just fabulous. They loved us so much, and they taught me so much about life and just everything. I don't know where I would be without them. After that, I came here to Liberty. This is where I've been for the past 3 years. I'm a kinesiology major, and I hope to coach basketball someday and hopefully start a family, either in America or back overseas, wherever God can lead me. One of the advantages I found from growing up in another country that wasn't your initial country of origin was you got to live in a culture that was completely different from the one that your parents grew up in, but you weren't there as a tourist. You grew up as a member of the society, but you're also an outsider, so you got to view the culture and the way it ran and how people function in the culture and all that from an objective standpoint, but you also were part of it. It was a weird combination of being in it and not being part of it. I would say that I most identify with the Slovene culture, even though I did grow up in multiple different types of cultures, the German culture and when I went to high school, and Russian culture when I was a young boy. But I spent most of my time growing up in Slovenia, and that's what I really define as home to me. And one of the cool things I really find about Slovenes is how they appreciate the community more than they do the individual. This obviously has to do with their Yugoslavian communistic backgrounds, which had their negative aspects, but they did have positive aspects where they viewed the family, the cohesive unit of a family, as something to be cherished, and the whole community is something to be upheld and to be respected. Whereas in America and other more Western civilizations, it's become a common place to idolize the individual and say, woe is those who look out for others, and great are those who look out for themselves. And so I really appreciated that part of my childhood, is just living with those who really valued me even though I wasn't part of their culture to begin with, and who respected me even though I was an outsider. A common misconception that I see with TCKs or kids that grew up overseas is that they're perceived to be adaptable. And although we are adaptable to a certain extent, sometimes that adaptability comes from closing ourselves off to the things around us. Because, you see, kids that grew up overseas often experience loss and pain from a very early age, from losing friends to losing a home to maybe even losing something as precious to them as a family member, because sometimes they just are in difficult situations like that. Fortunately, I have never experienced that, but I know people that have gone through serious pain and they've adapted in a certain way where they don't experience things to the fullest because they're afraid if they do and they finally feel the need for that, they won't know what to do with it when they lose it. And so because of that, they just close themselves off, and they don't try to reach out to anyone or anybody that can help them, or they put on a face of enjoying things, but they're really not experiencing it to the fullest, which is why I'm very conscious of this, and I try to make the most of where I am at the moment. Even if it's not the best situation, or even if I've had better times in the past, I try to make the most of it because I know even if it's gone, I'm going to regret it if I didn't take advantage of it in the moment. My name is Josiah Kelly, and I am third.